I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co, and today I'm doing a review for the expansion for Frightful Meadows, Candy Cove. Before we get into it, this is a prototype, all rules and components subject to change, and also to be clear, the expansion is a prototype, the base game this is not a prototype. This over here, and all the components for this is a prototype, rules, components subject to change, have a link to the Kickstarter campaign down below, and let's get into it. Candy Cove is basically a pretty straightforward expansion to Dreadful Meadows, because it adds 4 new characters you can play as. You can also play with them in the solo mode as well, so you can play against them in the solo mode, or you can play as them, taking the character count of Dreadful Meadows from 5 characters to 9 characters total. It adds 4 more characters to play as. Outside of that, it doesn't change anything else in the game, so it's pretty straightforward to get into. I'll give you a very short overview of Dreadful Meadows, and then I'll just dive into all the 4 characters, and then just my thoughts on the expansion. Dreadful Meadows is a game in which you're going to be taking 1 of 4 actions every single round. The general idea is you are building out your own little meadow, this Dreadful Meadow. You're going to be drafting tiles, paying their cost from the market, putting them into your own personal tableau, and then using your sprites. All your characters come with their own little 3 unique sprites. You're going to be spending those sprites, putting them onto tiles in order to generate candy on the various tiles, using those candies to purchase more harvesters and more tiles. Tiles help you grow your actual meadow, and harvesters are helpful because they expand how far you can produce candy when you place a sprite down, and they're also essential for endgame scoring because that's where the majority of your points generally will come from in the game. Outside of that, you can also be fulfilling resource cards with the candy you're producing at the same time, and then you can be recalling your sprites. That's the 4th action, recalling your sprites. So the actions are buying tiles, buying a harvester, placing down a sprite, or recalling your sprites. And when you recall your sprites, you activate all the abilities on the types of tiles on the board. That's the base game. The expansion, there's another previous expansion that adds a bunch of things as well, and then today we're talking about Candy Cove. Candy Cove adds 4 new characters. I'm going to tell you what those 4 characters do. If you are not familiar with Dreadful Meadows, some of this might be a little bit too much, but if you just want to know, like, is this expansion awesome? Like, should you get it? Well, you can just skip to final thoughts and skip what the characters do. But over here, we have Sia over here. Sia rolls a die, and all the characters, by the way, in this expansion come with their own little prop, effectively. She rolls a die at the start of her turn, and she can use it for any purchasing. She cannot use it for her resource cards. She can use it to buy harvesters or to buy various tiles using the value of the resource on that die. Basically, she has extra spending power every single turn. Pretty straightforward. Mara over here has a harvester that can be placed for free. So over here, he has his own unique harvester, different from the other harvesters in the game. I mean, similar looking, but slightly different. And that harvester can be placed for free, giving him a lot more flexibility to getting a harvester out very early because he doesn't need a completely surrounded. Normally, you have to surround a whole patch in order to place the harvester out, but he doesn't need to do that. He can just place this as soon as he wants. It's still an action, but it's free. Gets off to a good start. And then additionally, he can move 1 harvester at the start of your turn. That's important for a variety of reasons, not least of which is the cost to place a harvester is based on where it goes. So because you can place a harvester somewhere cheaper and then move it, you can actually really max out this ability. You just have to make sure you're taking advantage of that movement in good time. Then we have Neft over here. I think it's Neft. I think that's F. We have Neft over here. Neft immediately gains the bonus of the patch you place your second sprite on. Her accessory is basically a stand to place her second sprite on. And when she places a second sprite, she gets the bonus when she places it, as well as when she recalls, which also kind of puts her in a place where sometimes you want to place your sprites in batches of 2. Sometimes you want to go to 3, but there's a weird optimal aspect of placing 1, 2, recall, 1, 2, recall, because you get a ton of bonus abilities. So lots of flexibility to her in terms of how you play her, because all the abilities of the 5 different types of tiles will give you a different perk, but lots of flexibility from Neft and just extra goodies. I mean, they all have extra goodies, just different kinds of extra goodies. And then we have Cora, who gives you flexibility in a whole different kind of way. Cora allows you to move all candy from your patches to your coral storage at the start of your turn. That's important because normally the candy on your patches takes up the space in the patch. You can't generate more candy until you spend that candy. But she can hold on to and hoard on that candy as much as possible, going for those really strong big turns and never being worried about blocking off her patches. So again, all of these characters give you different kinds of abilities with different kinds of flexibilities, adding to the characters from the base game to bring your character count to a total of 9 characters. That's what the expansion does. Let's talk about my thoughts on it. I mean, if you like Dreadful Meadows, it's more characters. This is a pretty straightforward expansion. You don't need this to improve the game because, I mean, to improve the variety of the experience, sure, but the game itself is not changing. You have the same structure of Dreadful Meadows, there's no new mechanics, there's just new characters to add to the game. If Dreadful Meadows is a game that you pull out once a year on Halloween for your Halloween-themed game, I don't think you need this expansion because the base game is what the base game is doing, and also I've expressed this in the past, but I wasn't really impressed with the first expansion. As much as I like Dreadful Meadows, the first expansion I didn't really like the 3 different modules it kind of added. It didn't do a lot for me to improve the game. This one I like more as far as the expansion goes, but it's just character variety. So it is nice to have. It's a good expansion. It adds more variety. If you're playing a 4-player game of Dreadful Meadows, you're going to see all the characters, well, almost all the characters, as you play through it, and it's going to very quickly become something that you see the same characters again and again. If you are playing this once or twice a year, I don't think you need the expansion. If you're playing it more than that and you like this game, it's just a nice quality of life expansion to have because it improves upon the variety of the experience. It doesn't add any extra rules past reading what your character does, but like there's no rules overhead. It's just new characters. The abilities are all pretty nice. I cannot possibly comment on balance this early on. Like balance when it comes to character abilities, like they all feel overpowered in their own different ways. Like the fact that Maro has a harvester moving around feels insane, but then the small incremental growth of rolling a die every single turn, while it's not as big as far as what's happening, it gets you off to a nice strong early start because you're able to get those things much quicker, building up your tableau much faster. So they all have different strengths. I don't know about balance, I just know about fun, and all the characters' abilities are fun. They all feel powerful, I just don't know which ones are the most powerful. And so overall, for me, the expansion, I'm going to be rating it a 3.5 out of 5. Regular reminder that my expansion reviews are not based on the full package, it's based on what I think that expansion added to the game. And this is a nice to have expansion, it's not essential, it doesn't change up the experience, it just gives you more variety, but variety is always nice to have, a 3.5 out of 5. And that's basically my review of Dreadful Meadows Candy Cove. You can check out the crowdfunding campaign at the link down below, and until next time, I'm Alex Radcliffe from Board Game Co., and I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, I hope you have a good one.